Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. And sorry that this review is a bit late, but I've only just got back from Milan after our beautiful 2-0 win at the San Siro against AC Milan, which puts us top of the Champions League group, 1 point ahead of Salzburg. And we go into our game with RB Salzburg in Austria in a few weeks' time, looking more positive than it did about 2 weeks ago when we were bottom of the group with just a point. But yeah, it was another great performance by Graham Potter's men. That's now 5 games undefeated for Graham Potter since he took over, with 4 wins in a row. Of course, his first game being the draw against Salzburg at Stamford Bridge. I thought Chelsea have been playing really well. We've been controlling games, particularly the other night in the San Siro against AC Milan. I thought we dominated. And it made it even easier when Tomori got sent off. Obviously, I felt we controlled it brilliantly. Didn't let them get back into the game. I thought their only real chance was Olivier Giroud's header, which he probably should have scored. But apart from that, I thought we dominated. Obviously, the penalty was a huge changing point in the game, but I still think even with 11v11, we would have won because I think our quality would have been too much for AC. But yeah, so I just want to quickly talk about the penalty because a lot of people probably think it was not a penalty, but for me, it's definitely a penalty. Because it was only because Mason Mount didn't go down that I think people, are arguing a bit. Yes, it is very soft, but Tomori's clearly holding him back. So I think credit where credit's due to the ref there, because I felt the ref was shocking all game. But yeah, Tomori was holding him back. And by the letter of the law, if he's stopping Mason Mount from potentially scoring a goal, it is a red card. I know it's sort of like a bit soft and harsh, but they're the rules. So I do think he got that one right. And then also credit to Jorginho, because it must have taken about 6 minutes or something like that, something stupid between him like getting the ball for the penalty and actually scoring it. And the AC Milan fans were obviously whistling and booing and making a lot of noise. So to stay focused and slot it away was, I thought, was class from him. He's been playing actually quite well recently, and I think most of that's down to the way Potter's employing him. I think, he's not playing every game. He's, picking his battles. I feel like when we're getting pressed by teams like City and that, I don't think it suits his game. Whereas when it's, slower, he can control the tempo. Sort of, I think he's brilliant. And he's brilliant to bring on 70 minutes to close the game off pretty much when we're winning 2-0. I think that's when he's best suited. But yeah, anyway, I think it's also good to see Mason Mount, who's getting back in his flow. I think last season he was obviously quality for us, and it's nice to see him getting back on the assists. And although he hasn't scored recently, it's nice to see him getting assists and creating stuff. And I think it's only a matter of time before we get him back in form. So it's good to see that as well. And I just wanted to quickly point out, whilst we're just spoken about Tomori's penalty, I think that's the reason at the moment why Southgate isn't fully trusting in him at the moment. Obviously, he's young, and I think he will be a top player because you don't play for AC Milan and get rave reviews from one of the greatest of all time, Paolo Maldini, if, you're not a good defender. But I feel like in the games where, he really needs to grab it by the scruff of the neck and prove a point, I think he's just fallen short, and he's made a few mistakes. He made a few mistakes against us at Stamford Bridge, particularly for the second goal against Aubameyang. And then he let the team down by giving the referee an opportunity to make a decision like that when he was pulling Mount back. And I think he just needs to get rid of those mistakes from his game. He's quite similar to Chalobah, actually. Chalobah, I thought, has been playing really well recently, and we actually haven't lost a game when he's been playing. And I think it proved against San Siro, he made a couple of mistakes where AC Milan, got in. And I think that's the reason why the likes of Tuchel didn't trust him so much, because he had a few lapses of concentration. I think once he gets rid of them, and he's got time because he's still really young, he'll be a top player. And then there's our number 9, who seems to be breaking the number 9 curse, Aubameyang. He's now scored 3 goals in 4 games, and it's really nice to have a clinical striker up front, and it's making a lot of difference at the moment because, we're putting away chances rather than squandering a lot, which we did under Tuchel. I also want to say how nice it is so far on the Potter. I've realised that his tactics are amazing. Like his in-game management is superb. He's rotating, keeping the squad fresh at the moment. Like his tactics for me are what really stand out at the moment. So when Reece James got injured, I noticed that he put Dave on against Leal, and obviously there's a bit of a mismatch there for skill and pace. So he also substituted Loftus-Cheek to help give Dave a bit of cover on that side of midfield with Loftus-Cheek's pace. So I thought that was one thing that stood out to me that I noticed that was quite good. And also just his man management. It seems to be, at the moment, keeping everyone happy. Everyone's getting game time. He's utilising the squad, and it's just great to see. And one thing I did love at the end of the game was when a lot of the players dashed for the tunnel, he made sure he called them all back to go over and acknowledge the away fans, because the away fans in Milan were class, and it doesn't take much, just to, acknowledge their support. And I thought that was little things that mean something, and he just gets it for me, with the players, with the fans, and it's great to see. And I really hope he's going to be a success at the club. We got a tough game against Villa on Sunday, and hopefully we can get another win. Villa have struggled, so it's a potential banana skin, but hopefully our class shines through in the end.